What's up, everybody? I'm back. Okay, so wanted to share a quick spread with you guys. So yeah, I got triggered. I want to share with you guys because if you guys watched my Tarot Tuesday message I just recently posted, I had said that you either will get triggered, whether that be once, whether that be twice, whether that be 10 million, whatever times you were going to get triggered, or have been triggered recently. And it was meant to help you heal something that maybe you have been avoiding. So I'm going to share a true story. This just happened. I got triggered. I was on social media, like I said in my own reading. Like, it's funny how spirit works. I'm trying to find that card. It was a Ten of Swords. I know it was a Ten of Swords. I'm trying to find it. But I pulled my own spread though, because I had to like check myself for a second because I got really triggered. I was really like, wait a minute. Like, you know how you go on social media? You go on social media, you have no business looking at shit. Like, you basically looking for shit, just looking for something that you know you have no business. And, but it's like, spirit will use people and use certain things to trigger you. So I'm nosy. I'm very curious. I'm a curious George. I like to dissect everything, which is not really, it's not really that good of a trait. Like trait. Excuse me, I try to say two words like once. Um, that's not a good trait to have, really. To some extent, it's cool. Like if you like to learn things and like knowledge and stuff, but like Snoopster vibes get you in trouble, and it always does. I don't know why I haven't learned my lesson, but it's because I still need to heal something. So basically, I snoop and find something that triggered me, and it triggered inadequacy. It triggered not good enough, um, questioning myself, doubting myself, downplaying myself, comparing myself. That shit will fuck with you. So I don't know if this will resonate with anybody, but I felt guided to share my spread because I had to like sit down with myself because I know that it's a trigger, like it's something I need to heal. It never is about anybody else, whether it be, I'll use this as an example. Because I have a tendency to do this. This is something I still need to heal, but it's like, I used to do this back in the day. Like, I'm calling out my demons and my shadows so I can heal. So hopefully this helps somebody. And when I heal, I can help other people heal. So I'm gonna share it. So me, when I get into relationships, I can be pretty jealous, and I dissect everything. Like, who is this bitch? Why are you liking this person's pictures? Oh, this is the type you like. Like, I used to be like that. And it kind of still spills over a little bit to where, um, I'll think back on something and I'll be like, or maybe that's why it didn't work out because I wasn't like this, or I didn't look like this, or just stupid shit. And what it triggers to heal, what I was getting at, I think what I was getting at because I lost track. What it triggers you to heal is how you really feel about yourself. Because how it used to make me feel like, well, maybe I'm unworthy. Like, I don't, you know, I might not be this person's type. Why are they with me? Why do they like me? I don't look like this person that they used to talk to, or this person they like their pictures, or whatever the fuck. It's just stupid stuff. But yeah, it would trigger a lot of need to like really sit down with self. So yeah, in short, I got triggered. And it's not a good feeling, but you have to acknowledge it because I feel like if you want to use this in the ways of love or self purpose, you can't compare your journey, you can't compare your purpose, you can't compare your looks or what you have going for yourself. And say that you're unworthy because of something that's different from the next person, or what this person has that's different from you, or what you think. Like sometimes it's just based off of assumption. That's another thing too. Like nobody ever said you weren't good enough. Nobody ever said that your gift, you weren't talented enough. No one ever said that you were not important, or no one ever said that you weren't beautiful enough, or you weren't handsome enough, or this, that enough. Like, you know, certain things that we look at is really just a projection of how we feel about ourselves. I had to learn that. Like, it is what it is. And I'm still healing from that. I'm still growing through that. So, and it comes in different ways. Like, you'll be triggered. And I feel like sometimes you cannot go on social media. And I know you kind of have to take the good with the bad online, and what you take in, whether you're sensitive to certain news topics, like it instills fear. I used to be like that too when I was little. Like certain things I would watch on the news would have me like in fear, and um, that's another. Those are different things that we have to heal. There's different triggers out there, and I feel like social media can be a devil's playground sometimes. And another thing too, I would say, because I know that a lot of you guys are growing through this type of dynamic where some of y'all may be in third party situations or something, or um, I don't know if this is just what's coming up. Some of you guys looking at exes stuff or something, and you're triggered by the fact that they moved on or seemingly moved on, or you feel like their life is better than yours. And um, people only post what they want you to see, and sometimes project what they want you to perceive things. Like, you know, we can do that online, so we don't get the full effect. Like people might have an idea about you that's not really, it's not really what it is. You know, they may perceive like, oh, your life is great because of this, and oh, because you have hundreds and thousands of followers, your life must be good, or you must be happy, or just the most wonderful person in the world. But who's to say that? Like, you don't know a person's story. um, you don't know. So I get that you have to be very careful with that. Um, and if you're very good at capturing yourself and saying, okay, this is a trigger, or I see it for what it is, you won't let it get at you. So I'm learning that too. Like, soon as something comes up, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of sat in that energy a little bit of feeling like, oh, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Oh, maybe I'm not this and that. Like, it gets to that, and you start dwelling in that energy, but then you have to catch yourself and say, this is a trigger. Now that I identified that it's a trigger, in what way is it triggering me, and how the fuck do I identify it? And sometimes for me, like, I'll pull my cards. Like, that's how I, one of the ways, I'll say, one of the ways that I connect with spirit, and that's one of the ways I connect with self. You know, I could sit in it, but I know how I am. I'm a thinker, and I think too deep into things. I can like go down a rabbit hole or some shit. So I try not to I keep messing with my face, my bad y'all. I keep dissecting things, and to the point where you get caught up in that. So you have to be very careful that when you get triggered, you don't dwell in that energy, you don't sit in it, you don't try to overanalyze it, and because you'll just go deeper and deeper down a darker hole. You'll start creating things in your mind like that's not true. Okay. um because I mean, like, you could take something and it might not be anything. Like, you, because I've been shamed before. Like, I try to, like, how do I say it, like, it's kind of embarrassing because I was that girl that was like, who is this bitch, blah blah blah. Like, you're just insecure. Like, and it stems from wounding, and it stems from insecurities, and it stems from abandonment and rejection and stuff. And then it starts to turn into rejecting self, thinking, like, looking for something to say, oh, well, I must not be enough for this person, or start comparing other people's so-called success and achievements against your own. But I used to like be really bad at this. I would look stupid in the end because I'd be like, oh, who is this girl? And they'd be like, this is just so and so. That's so and so's that's someone's girlfriend or something. And you be thinking that it's like, I mean, sometimes people do lie. They'll tell you things, but like, no, like I've kind of been put to embarrassment before because it's like it don't be anything, but you'll take it as that because you'll see something and you'll start to project something and be like, oh, well, it must be this and it must be that. Like, and it's not always the case, but and like I said, looking and even beyond social media, like even in real life, like you'll see things and you'll perceive like, oh, they must be better off than me because they have this. And it's not always that way. Like you gotta read between the lines, and it's not for you to be like, oh, well, okay, that makes me feel better because it's not all that great for them. No, it's for you to ask yourself, why am I counting myself out? Why am I belittling myself in comparison to other people? Like that shouldn't be, like you should be focused on self. And if there are insecurities and stuff like that when it comes to your own self worth, your value, and all of that, I feel like I'm talking in circles. You have to deal with it. And like these cards were like really clear. Like I shuffled them and they flew out of the deck. So I pulled the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is that heavy energy. I feel like that's the trigger, the Tower card, trigger all day. The Four of Cups, being in your feelings. But what Spirit is trying to show you is something that needs to be healed. And you notice that the cup is pink. So pink for me is self-love. It is pure loving energy. So I feel like that's part of it. And then you have the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups this is turning away from those negative emotions, those negative energies, getting out of that place of pessimism and just lowering yourself, beating yourself up. Like it's easy to dwell in that. It really is. But you gotta know, like you gotta be discerning because some triggers are sent from the divine to help you, and some triggers are meant to deter you off of a path to make you question everything and be like, oh well, maybe I am just fucking stupid or fucking delusional, and then like, oh, maybe this is for nothing. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I'm just whatever doing this for no reason. I misled myself. Like it would be different things, but you have to trust spirit. And I feel you see how they're painting this woman, they're painting her in the background and they're like watching her. I feel like this is working on self, to love self, to embrace all that you are because it's easy to compare. It is. Life, circumstances. I feel like social media does a good job at making people feel like they have to keep up with a status quo or they have to keep up with the next person, the likes and the comments, and everything is superficial nowadays. You could get caught up in it. If not that, then you are not doing anything if you're not doing this, if you don't have this, if you don't look like that, if whatever. And even I even notice in the spiritual community, there's a lot of ego in the spiritual community. Like everybody's all about like appearances and like it's too much. And it's like if this is about helping people, this is about you walking your path, your journey, and all of that, then why does all that other shit matter? And it's just too much. And another thing, like, that I used to get insecure and triggered by is I felt like I wasn't excelling in, like, because I put a lot of energy into what I do. And it's not so much to be recognized and get achievements, but it made me feel like, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Like, am I like a bad, like, I know I'm not a bad reader, but I would like question like myself, like, maybe it's just, I just don't have something, I just don't have it, or I'm just not good enough, or maybe it's me. And sometimes we can so sabotage by our thoughts and our thinking. Like I know I turned some dudes off with that fucking insecurity shit. Like that's not cute. Like you know what I mean? So I can only imagine, like, you can throw yourself off of your path and other things, blessings from coming to you when you think about yourself in a certain manner. Um, and that shows, like, that energy, it shows or it seeps through things. So I feel for those of you that resonate with this, spirit is kind of like trying to get you together and get you back on track, to let go with the Four of Pentacles, let go of these false beliefs about yourself, because that's really what it is. It's instilled from somewhere, whether you subconsciously in your minds hold yourself that you weren't good enough or something you experienced. And that's another thing too, like childhood can be the first seed of planting certain habits and traumas and behaviors and wounds. So inner child work is also tied into shadow work as well. Um, but I feel like the triggers are to help you. Like, now is the time to do all of that, because we're about to close out a cycle. This decade, we're going into a new decade, and this is really important. And I feel like there's something very significant about 2020. And if we're not completely healed, it's like, I don't even feel like, it's like this energy of not being left behind, and I don't feel like it's that way, especially if you put a lot of work into yourself, you've did a lot of healing work, you've been through a lot. I don't feel like you would be in that state of being stuck in this cycle, because I feel like it's a karmic cycle, and I feel like it's being released. And if you want the things that you want, the blessings that you want to be in the vibration to receive those things. So the Nine of Cups to me, because you got the Eight of Cups here, so the Eight is heading towards the Nine of Cups. So that is fulfillment within self. You have to be fulfilled within yourself. You have to really know who you are. Nobody could tell you different. Regardless if you're in a room with people who are like certified geniuses and you never went to college, you got to know that you're just as qualified as those people. You have to know that, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you might be wanting to be a model or something, and you might look at everybody else like, I don't have what they're looking for, but you gotta stand in that room and be like, there's something significant about me and different. I'm not called to this for no reason. If whatever it is, you have to see yourself as worthy without comparing yourself to other people. Like, what do I have within me that makes me unique? That doesn't take away from this person's uniqueness, their intelligence, their achievements, their beauty, their whatever it is. What can I do to identify that within myself? So, um, you got the Knight of Cups here too. So this is about doing some soul searching. That's what I get with this. This is how I took it. And she kind of looks like me a little bit. But it's like, do some soul searching, reflect, because it's not easy. And they have two, I don't know why they have two Ten of Swords, maybe as a reminder. But one is the Ten of Swords, like it says Ten of Swords, and the other version is everything is fine. And she's looking on her phone. This is the card that I pulled during the Tarot Tuesday. The Tarot Tuesday message was that something would trigger you. A message, a phone call, conversation, something on social media, something that you read, whatever, would potentially trigger you or did trigger you, or there's more triggers to come, because this isn't the first. I had the same, like, it's the same thing. Like, it was like a similar instance, and I got triggered again, like not even within 48 hours, I got triggered again with the same type of situation. So it's like, I don't think I fully addressed it, which, no, I don't think. I know I didn't fully address it. So see it for what it is, identify it. I pulled one of my Venus is a plug oracle cards, and I pulled Venus in Aquarius, which says, love is kind, patient, but most importantly, it is free. A need for independence and non-attachment with heart matters. You have the ability to teach and learn this valuable gem, which is funny. So what I got from this is that you have to be kind to yourself, be patient with yourself, and know that love is free. So I'll say this for myself. Going back to that woundedness that I had where I compared myself to other women or girls at the time in comparison to somebody that I was dating with, in a relationship with, or interested in, that it's free. Like, you don't control anybody at the end of the day. And, you know, also another thing too with love, love is kind, love is patient, love is free, is that this is how you have to treat yourself. Like I said, this is an act of self-love, unconditional love with yourself. You have to liberate yourself from that which holds you down, which holds you back, because nobody else is really here to save you but you. I hate to tell you that, but it is what it is. Like, people can support us, they can help us, but they can't completely free us. We have to we have to be that person that liberates ourselves. We have to want that shit too. And I feel when you heal and you detach from situations or energies that don't serve you, you have the ability to teach and help somebody else. A lot of you are healers. A lot of you are messengers. A lot of you are here to spark change, to provoke thought in people. Um, so it's very important that you go, like, yeah, sometimes you got to go through the fire in order to help other people rebuild. You have to go through that process within yourself to even help another person. So, or whoever you feel led to, it doesn't have to be on a grand scale, so to speak, but however you're led to do it, I feel this is like an ending. This is an energy of completions and endings right now for a lot of people. A lot of people. This is the end of a decade. It needs to happen. And if I'm not mistaken, we're in the age of Aquarius, or we're going into, I'm not sure, but I know the age of Aquarius is the time period of all being revealed and enlightenment and truth. But I also feel like too, you guys have to be very discerning because there is a lot of fake woke people, as they say, woke. A lot of fake people just hopping on the back bandwagon of spirituality because they think it's cute. And I'm not even just speaking of spiritual teachers, but like certain people, like, it's a lot of fakeness, and you have to dissect the truth between what is really spiritual enlightenment and what's just some Disney fuckery, love and light only, because spirituality is, it's got two sides to it. Has many different layers. There's levels to the shit. Like, I started off with the love and light shit, and shit gets real. I can't help other people if I haven't faced my shadows. If I haven't, and thank God that I have support and people that can help me with that because I am stubborn. And sometimes you just need a village. You need your soul tribe to help you. So align yourself with people, whether they're near or far, to help you. And your soul tribe people can be people you don't even know or even talk to. They could be someone that you identify with online. Like, I feel like I have soul tribe members that I, check, their messages, and it resonates with me. It gives me life. It gives me clarity of perspective. I take it and I move on. You know what I mean? So I feel, align yourself with people that resonate with you. Be mindful and discerning of the information you take. And I always say this, separate the person from the message, because I'm not perfect. I live a normal, average life. I have triggers. I have an ego. I have wounds. Just as much as I want to help people, just as much as I have healing aspects of myself, just as much as I can be happy one day and sometimes I can be sad, I can be angry, I have ups and downs of different shit. I'm human. I'm spiritual, I'm a spirit being, but I'm human. I'm in this physical reality experiencing a 3D reality, which ego is involved. So I'm not perfect. I'm not a model citizen, I wouldn't say that. So take the messages that resonate with you from people and separate, detach yourself from. That's another thing too. Love is free. that means not being detached to things and people, because we're human at the end of the day. Like, I feel that's another part of this message is we get disappointed and we have expectations. People are who they are, like, and they're going to be who they are. Just as much as you make mistakes, other people make mistakes, or you have to learn lessons, other people have to learn lessons. um I feel like I'm all over the place. I'm just going with what's coming to me. um But yeah, use your discernment, because there's some people that I resonate with their message, but I don't necessarily resonate with the person. And there's times where I can take a message for a season and may no longer need that messenger to help me or to guide me to some extent. Not guide, but to kind of help me identify my path. I can detach from that because it was for a season. We meet people for a season, whether these are spiritual teachers, people that enlighten us, whether that be relationships, friendships, jobs. As we evolve, not everybody is going to resonate with us. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're higher or lower than them, or they're higher or lower than you. It just means that you're no longer on that same frequency, or your that path that you had with that person or that experience is no more. That chapter's up, right? You're no longer the same person that you were. And sometimes, you will have those people that are a part of your soul tribe that you will click with. And sometimes you might not. And that's another thing too. Like, you don't always gotta be in the same space with people. Energy is fluid. Like, there's times where I can go without talking to friends, homegirls, whatever, for months, but when you do get back, it's like nothing ever happened. So it's like that's the art of free flow and unconditional love. That, and it's because we're soul tribe. We're always connected. We're spiritually connected. We're soul family. So it's not this physical shit. It's a small fragment of what really is. At the end of the day, it's a projection. So also other things that we get triggered, we see in others that we might not necessarily like. It may be things within ourselves that we have yet to heal. Does not necessarily mean that it's something within us. It could be they remind of us of a family member that hurt us, that wounded us, or experience of something that we need to heal. So just in the beauty, just as much as the beauty you see in other people, there's something in you that's there that you're identifying. Everything is a projection. So use these things to your advantage to help you and to better you. And as I'm saying this, I'm taking this shit in for myself as well, because spirit uses me in this space of receptivity to spirit for me to hear clearly, because sometimes I get in my own way and I'm my own ego. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. I just wanted to share that because I feel led to. I thought it was very funny that not even, what, 5 hours later, maybe, if that, I said something about being triggered in some way, and it's meant to help you. It's meant to trigger some help with self love that I went through, that trigger that I went through, and I started spiraling for a second, and I had to like cut myself off and say, wait the fuck a minute. Let me see what this is about, because it's easy to get caught up. So yeah, don't shy away from that, y'all. Like, I preach shadow work all the time, but that's because it is essential when it comes to your healing. I'm not a guru, I'm not a perfectionist type of person. I mean, I can be, but that's part of the ego where I beat myself up, and I'm learning and growing through things. So I don't like to speak on things I have not experienced, things I have not grown through or mastered per se, or someone close to me has not experienced or I have not witnessed. I can't share that type of stuff because it's like, how would I be able to help you if I didn't go through it? So when I talk about shadow work, it's not me per se, it's spirit speaking, but it's also a part of me that shares how important it is, because it helps you to evolve. It helps you to get in tune with yourself, as hard as it is. And there's been some moments where, I'm not gonna lie, like, I've tried to shut a lot of shit out that I should be addressing, I should be healing. But what I would say to you guys is not to shy away from it. And it's usually the shit that makes you uncomfortable. It's the things that make you like fears, feeling uncomfortable, beating yourself up. And don't try to numb the pain. That doesn't work because it's only going to amplify. When we run from something that we need to see, it amplifies. So if there's a situation that you continuously think about, and it could be a painful situation, let's say for instance something that happened to you that was very painful, and you try to shut that memory out by numbing the pain, by um, whatever it could be. Let's say distract yourself with TV or um, sadly drugs for some people, drinking, sex, just distractions to get you from focusing on what you need to heal. The more and more it's going to come to you. I feel like you have to make peace with those things that are coming to you, people that are coming to you, the memories, because there's some unresolved issues most likely, or there's something that you're ignoring, and spirit wants you to move towards that so that you can identify what's being shown to you. Like, this is the time to do that. How else would you grow if you didn't? Like, it's some shit is not easy to do. Like, there's a lot of tower moments that may have happened in 2019. I know I can, me, hey, like, yeah. A lot of people have gone through a lot of shit this year, last year, this whole decade alone. Like, like a lot. So, I will say, use this last half of the year. This, you got like 2.5 weeks left of the year until we move into 2020, to a new decade. Take this time out to get right within yourself. Those that love you will understand, because some of you might need to disconnect a little bit, or you might not be as emotionally available or mentally available or energetically available for people around you. You have to honor yourself. We can burn ourselves out, and that's another thing. Like, we have to, another part of self-love is honoring how we feel, and take time for self, because if you don't, you're only running from yourself. You'll burn yourself out. And take it from me, either you go through this period of where you get knocked down with the cold, so you have no choice but to sit the fuck down. Spirit will force you to do that, or just something else. Like, spirit will pull people out of your fucking life so you can just sit the fuck down. Meaning breakups, or friendships going disarray, or losing a job. Like, some of those things happen to also awaken us to ourselves. When we go through many awakenings, we don't just go through one. I don't believe that. We don't go through just one. Go through many. And that's because I've been there, done that. I don't speak on shit I don't know, or have not experienced, or have not witnessed. If ever alleged. But when I do these types of things, it's because I'm channeling spirit. My higher self is involved. The ego comes in when it needs to express itself, but you can tell the difference. But yeah, inner child healing too, because we're healing. We're not just healing stuff from 10 years ago. Some of us, this is childhood. Some of this is generational shit. And like I said, if you came here to heal, awaken motherfuckers, help them with their awakening, I would say, or just be there to kind of like shed light on shit. It's their choice whether they want to tap in or not. It's not up to us to force feed anybody. To provoke thought in people, to provoke change, then you most likely are the person that has to heal all the family shit. You're most likely the person that stands out of the family, whether that be in a good or bad way, where however you perceive it, or you're someone that kind of feels outcasted at times, or feels different from people around you, never really felt like you quite fit in, or I guess a black sheep, or the person that was a loner at some point in your life, or just went through things. Most likely you are someone that's meant to come in and change things, because if we don't go through it, We don't grow through it. How are we going to teach somebody else how to do it? So, um, it's all for a divine purpose. Trust me, it's not like you're just going through something for you. Got to learn how to master your shadows too. Like when you get to a point, there's certain things that I've mastered, like I said, and there's some things that I have not mastered, and I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still getting to that point. It's happening like already. So I always go, it's like a scene in the Matrix that always comes up in my mind when I think about like facing my shadows, where Neo was fighting the, I can't remember his name, but it was one of the agents or whatever. And there was like 100 of them coming at Neo. And it's like he already knew the moves of the enemy before the enemy was like trying to come at him. So it's like that. Like you gotta learn what your shadows are. You gotta learn what ticks you off, what triggers you. So when you see it, you identify it. You can even sense it before it happens. Like, okay, I know on cue that this happens every time I cleanse. Happened today. That's funny. Revelation. What happened today? I cleansed today. I was purging. I was releasing. Um, and I had did like a whole aura cleanse and stuff today. I was in the shower, I did some cleansing work and all of that, and it's never fails. Every time I release energy, I purge, I cleanse, a trigger comes, and you have to kind of know that. Like, say for instance, every time you start living happy. Like, let's use it as an example. Like, this is like a common thing. Like, whenever you level up and you're doing good, you're doing better, that's when the exes want to come back. That's when the fuck boys and fuck girls try to hit you up. Like, hey, what you been up to? Oh, what was good with you? Blah, blah, blah. When you pass that level, here comes the distractions to kind of suck you back in. That's another thing. It's like that. So you gotta identify when the enemy comes and how to level up and how to defeat them and how to see it for what it is and see, oh, that's a trigger, that's a trick, that's a block, or that's a potential distraction. You gotta know the difference, and I'm learning that. I'm learning that. And one of my sisters helped me to identify that. She was like, you don't think it's strange that every time when you go through a process where you heal and you start leveling up or your gifts starting heightening, that people try to attack you? And that happens too. Motherfuckers be trying to attack me. They be coming at me talking crazy, denouncing my gift or trying to denounce my gift or down talk me, people in my environment with that me. And again, another thing that one of my sisters like put me on game to, separate the person from the energy, the message, or whatever. So if you have people that are triggering you, people that try to bring you down, sometimes those people are being used, whether they're being used by the divine to help you heal, trigger something, or by a force that wants to keep you stagnant and stuck and keep you dumb and thinking that you're not progressing, that you're nothing, that you're not good enough, you're not worthy of something, it's never gonna happen, don't even play yourself. And sometimes it's our own inner thoughts too. So our thoughts get hijacked. We trauma, subconscious messages that we told ourselves is playing out. And a lot of times too, when you heal, when you're healing and when you're releasing, those types of thoughts will come up. Sometimes I feel like those are to identify what needs to be released and say, okay, that's something that's got to go. Or it could even also be that it's being released as you're going through it. It's just like vomit. The thoughts are being deleted out of the program system, whatever. Or memories start popping up in your head. That could be you releasing. I remember I went through an ego death and it literally felt like I was fucking about to be like, I almost went crazy one night. Like, it was really bad. It was a Scorpio, like something. Scorpio moon, new moon, full moon. And I have Scorpio and a placement that's pretty heavy to deal with. So, I was going through it. Um, I had lost a family member at that time. I think. Was it around that time? No, there. She was a Scorpio. She was a Scorpio. It was a little bit before it all happened. No, I actually think it was around the time, yeah, it was around the time that she passed. And I just went, like, I couldn't, I was like losing it. Like, am I, like, I don't know if I could do this, guy. Like, is this it? Because it was like intense. A lot of karmic energy was coming up. A lot of trauma was coming up. A lot of pain, a lot of guilt, a lot of fear. Like every dark energy you could think of. Because Scorpio deals with the, we got 30 minutes, deals with the subconscious. It really deals with the dark energies, the shadow energies. All of that intense shit comes up. So that moon fucked me over. And on top of that, I was high on some edibles, and I took too many of those edibles, and I was pretty fucked up and tripping. I was in here fucking freaking out. Nobody knew. I was just in here like tripping on some wild shit. So it took me to like connect with spirit, because it was making me question everything. I was like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe this is for nothing. Like I was being attacked like a motherfucker and releasing at the same time. So yeah, you guys, the shit gets real. Like people want to talk all that light and fluffy shit. Like it ain't that. Like it's not. I mean, it's not that. It's not that. But it's not only that. And after that, I actually felt stronger in myself. Like you just gotta continue to push forward. You have to continue to push forward and really trust yourself. Like a lot of people's gifts are getting stronger. A lot of people are becoming more aware of their gifts. And like I said, I'm not perfect. Like the journey does not end. I don't even think it ends when we leave here. Like the journey continues somewhere else. The marathon continues, right? It doesn't end just one go round. Like we're not robots. We're not Barbie dolls. We're not. And anybody that teaches that foolery, like love and light, everything is blah 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 blah. Some of us are spirit warriors out here. We're not here to just be complacent and just allow shit to be. Like if we came here to really wreck some shit in a good way, we got work to do. And what other enemy to fight more than ourselves? Like we gotta shield ourselves. And I'm telling myself this too. So I thank everybody on my fucking journey so far. I thank everyone that has supported me, that has sent me love, whether it was, you know, behind closed doors, prayed for me, whatever. Those of you that rocked with me, even those of you that triggered me, those of you that was trying to throw some hate and shade at me and all kind of shit throughout the time, I appreciate you too, because you helped me to get back on my shit. That's the thing. The enemy, spirit uses the enemy to empower you. They use the enemy themselves. So it ain't no thing, okay? So I am very appreciative of all of my spirit family, my soul family that has helped me, spoke life into me, all of that. This has been a very bumpy road. This year has been very heavy. This whole entire decade has been heavy. Like 2010, when I had my daughter, my life was like very crazy. I was pretty young. Like I feel like I started my life at 18 a little bit. Like I got out, and that's how a lot of shit just happened. A lot of things aligned, and around I just went through a lot of trauma during that period of having my daughter. Like it was like a heavy period for me. Like actually, I will say 2009 into 2010 when I had my daughter, that life was just fucking like crazy. I went through a lot of trauma. I went through a lot of pain, a lot of depression. Didn't really know my self-worth, didn't know much about myself. Um, was not living my truth, wasn't living for myself. It was a lot. And I can't blame anybody because, you know, just as equally toxic as, you know, the situations that I was in and the people I was around, I was also toxic too. There's a lot of wounding, a lot of Like I said, I was heavily jealous, heavily insecure about myself, needed to be validated from a partner, and just really, but I had to forgive myself and have compassion for that person, because that didn't just spark out of nowhere. This was time and time of lies that we tell ourselves and experiences. And as children, we don't know how to handle our pain and handle our rejections and our abandonments. So we internalize that as adults. We go on in life and it plays out in our adult interactions in life and so on and so forth. So it was a heavy time up until now. I went through a lot, but I look back and I grew a lot as a person internally. My life, to some extent, I could say, like, oh, I'm not where I want it to be. I'm not in a whatever living situation necessarily that I want to be in, or in a relationship or married and all this, the shit that we tell ourselves that we have to like have at age 30. We have to achieve this by age 30. And I thought that I would go to college and be successful, and I went to school and that shit didn't work out because that wasn't my path. That wasn't for me. That's not what I wanted to do. So I had to go through that, um, go to veterinarian school just to only find that it was not for me. Even though I love animals, that's not, they're a part of my journey and my path, but not in that way. So I had to go through that. I went through a lot of shit. A lot of shit, y'all. Like a lot. In my little 30 years of life. But I don't know. I just want to just say thank you to people, because YouTube has helped me grow as an individual too. Because I was shy, not able to talk on camera, not comfortable to even share anything of nothing. I didn't ever think that this would help me in the way that it has, and I would help people in the way that I've helped people. Like I never imagined. So it took a leap of faith in listening to spirit and my higher self and my guides to push me to a place to share my gift and to even get stronger, because there's people that have been with me since I started my channel. I'm just like, y'all motherfuckers rocking with me like that, because I've been my channel's gone through so many different shifts and changes, and me as a person, as I evolve, so has my messages, my readings, my reading abilities, and everything. Like, y'all done seen everything, so I appreciate y'all. And I don't know how long like this YouTube shit will last. And of course I want to do more. This is not my only stop. This is not all I want to do. I'm not just a reader. I don't just read cards. I don't just read shells or whatever else. Like, there's other things I'm tapping into. So yeah, and I would say the same for you guys. Like, to really look at how far you've come. Like, you might look at your life and be like, well, oh, I haven't, and this. But like, really look at it, and you can really see that you've changed as a person. We might not always be where we want to be, but everything has a season, a time, and a purpose. And I'm learning that too. Um, yeah, because it's been rough, but it's also been magical at the same time. It's weird to say that, but it has been magical and all that. But yeah, I got triggered tonight, and triggered enough to identify it to where I could share the message with y'all, and hopefully that anything that stood out to you in this message was a gem to you. Maybe not everything, but something. Because somewhere down the line, I'm probably just like you, and you're probably just like me. Like, we can identify in some sense. Like, I'm pretty sure you can identify with something. So that's enough rambling and talking. But I felt led to share that. I felt led to share my spread because I thought it was fucking ironic. Like, not even 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many hours when I first went on the live and I did that message, but yeah. So yeah, much love to you guys. I appreciate you. Do your healing work. Be kind to yourself. Be free. I don't know. But much love to you guys. I appreciate you. Peace.